we will have the duo. I don't know. Remains to be seen.
Caitlin Clark got her first technical foul of the season on Wednesday, May 13th against the Los Angeles Sparks. And here's what makes this moment so important. It's not about the technical itself. It's about how she responded to it. Because what happened after that whistle tells you everything about who Clark is becoming as a player and as a leader in this league. She didn't make excuses. She didn't blame the refs. She didn't try to save face or spin the narrative. She looked straight at the cameras and said what most players would never say. I deserved it. That's not just accountability. That's evolution. The technical came during halftime as the Fever were heading to the locker room. Indiana had the ball on their final possession before the break. Clark was arguing an offensive foul that had been called on her. She wasn't just disagreeing with the call. She was shouting. She was gesturing at the official. She was doing exactly what competitive players do when they think a call is wrong. She was expressing her frustration. She was fighting for her team, and she got a technical for it. The Sparks got free throws out of it, the whistle got blown, the game moved on, and most players would have let it go. Most players would have used it as bulletin board material, or talked about how the refs were against them, or played the victim card. But that's not what Clark did. After the Fever's 87-78 victory, Clark took full responsibility. She walked into that post-game press conference knowing the whole world was watching, knowing the media was ready to run with whatever narrative they could create. And she shut it down immediately. She said, the refs were calling it. The refs are doing a tremendous job. I deserved the technical they gave me. It's great for the game. They're going to keep the hands off. They're going to make the play be good. That's not just taking responsibility. That's actually praising the referees for doing their job. That's saying the league made the right call in tightening standards around fouls. That's a level of maturity you don't see from young players in their third year. The WNBA is tightening its standards around the number of fouls committed in games. The league revised its fine structure for technical fouls, flagrant fouls, and flopping. The new structure, agreed upon in the league's CBA, raises fine amounts to 2.5 times more than the cost in 2025. Technical fouls are now fined at $500 for the first three before escalating. That's a significant increase. That's the league saying, we want a cleaner game. We want less arguing with officials. We want less showboating. We want players who respect the rules of the game. And Clark just got hit with that new standard, and instead of complaining about the fine or the inconsistency, she got it. But here's what makes Clark's response even more profound when you understand her full journey coming into this season. Last year was brutal for her. She was limited to just 13 games because of a series of soft tissue injuries, groin injuries, back issues, the kind of nagging problems that never fully go away. They just sit there in the back of your mind, reminding you that your body isn't what it used to be, that you can't trust your body the way you did before, that every movement could be the one that sets you back another month. So when she came into the season opener against Dallas and had to leave the game twice to get her back adjusted, it wasn't just a physical thing. It was a mental thing. It was her body betraying her on the biggest stage. It was opening night of the season, and she had to sit on the bench while her teammates played without her. And that does something to you. That does something to your confidence. Clark herself said, the hardest part of injury is something I'm still really battling and almost struggling with is just the mental hump of getting over everything. I understand my body too well to a point now. You just become hyper cautious about certain things. That's the kind of honesty that most athletes hide. Most players would say they feel great. They'd talk about their preparation. They'd give you the stock answers. But Clark went deeper. She admitted she's scared. She admitted she's being too careful. She admitted that her body has betrayed her before, and now she's afraid it'll do it again. That's real. That's vulnerable. And that's exactly the kind of player who then turns around and takes a technical foul without making excuses. Because here's the thing about getting a technical. It means you cared. It means you were fighting. It means you weren't coasting through the game. You were emotionally invested in every possession. You were battling with officials because you believed something was wrong. That's passion. That's competitiveness. That's what separates stars from everyone else. But the mark of a true leader is being able to turn that passion into accountability. Being able to say, yes, I was right to fight for that call, but the rules are the rules, and I deserved the consequence. So when Clark said she deserved the technical, she was doing a few things at once. She was acknowledging that, yes, she was arguing with an official. She was admitting that the ref had every right to blow the whistle. She was respecting the new standards that the WNBA is implementing. And most importantly, she was showing her teammates that winning doesn't come from complaining about calls. It comes from accepting the consequences of your actions and moving forward. Clark's performance that night actually validates her whole approach. She played 31 minutes without any injury scares. She put up 24 points, dished out 9 assists, grabbed 4 rebounds, rebounds and added 2 steals and a block. She shot 1 of 7 from 3, which isn't great, but she also had 6 turnovers, which shows she was trying to do everything on both ends of the floor. She was hunting. She was aggressive. She was playing with the intensity that technical foul represented, and the Fever won 87-78. The mental aspect of her recovery is something Clark has been very open about. She said, "That moment where my back tightened up, I think I almost got confidence from that because I came back in and I played 8 more minutes, so I felt great. But it's going to take me a little bit to really get over the mental hurdle of trusting my body. Wenzi tati entiri insar ar." That's the journey of a player coming back from injury. It's not just about the physical recovery. It's about convincing your brain that your body can handle it. It's about building confidence through minutes, through games, through moments where you push yourself and don't break. Getting a technical foul and then taking responsibility for it is exactly the kind of moment that builds that mental confidence. Because Clark proved to herself that she can still be intense. She can still be competitive. She can still fight for calls. And when the consequence comes, she can handle it without falling apart. She can handle it without making excuses. She can handle it with grace and accountability. That's championship mentality. That's the kind of mindset that takes injuries and turns them into fuel. The broader context here is that the WNBA is evolving. The league is enforcing its rules more strictly. The fines are higher. The expectation is that players will respect officials and conduct themselves professionally, even in the heat of the moment. And Clark, on her 3rd year, is already ahead of the curve. She's already understanding that winning and leading isn't about winning every argument with a ref. It's about accepting the rules and playing the best basketball you can within those rules. It's about setting an example for younger players about how to handle adversity and accountability. That's why this technical foul moment matters more than just a technical foul. It's a snapshot of who Clark is becoming as a player and as a leader. She's a 3rd-year veteran who's already learned the lessons that some players never learn in their entire careers. She's a player who's battled back from significant injury and came back more mentally tough, not less. She's a player who can get a technical foul and praise the referees in the same breath. She's a player who understands that accountability isn't weakness, it's strength. When you really think about it, the fact that this was her first technical of the season tells you something too. It took her more than a week of games to get one. In a league where players are pushing boundaries constantly, where arguments with refs are common, where techs are handed out regularly, Clark had stayed clean until this moment. That speaks to her discipline. That speaks to her understanding of the game. And when she did get one, she owned it completely. No deflection, no blame, no excuses, just truth. Caitlin Clark got her first technical of the season and then showed the entire WNBA how to respond to it. She showed her teammates. She showed the younger players coming into the league. She showed the fans. She showed the referees. She showed that you can be competitive and intense and still be respectful of the game and its rules. While some players are still arguing about every call and blaming referees for everything, Clark is already a step ahead. She's already figured out that winning starts with accepting accountability. And that's the kind of player who doesn't just have a great season. That's the kind of player who wins championships.